Hi guys, so just updating you on your next week's cycle of training. So we're moving into week 3 now, so the penultimate week of this 4-week cycle. So main increase is just an increase in overall RPE across all of our movements. We want those compound lifts to still be nice and controlled on that eccentric phase of the movement and to make sure there's good healthy shapes throughout everything. I don't want you increasing in weight unless the movement pattern is near enough perfect, because we don't want to promote any kind of bad habits, especially with those compound lifts, that there's more potential for injury within those. So if you're obviously feeling good and that RPE is increasing, we should be around that 7 to 8 RPE now going into this 3rd week. So there should only really be 2 reps in the tank. Obviously add a little bit of weight onto the bar. One little tip going into this week, just to kind of gauge where that RPE is: do our first working set at what you finished your sets at last week, and then you can gauge off that set how much more weight to potentially put on the bar or for the dumbbells going into this week. So you don't have to have as much of a linear increase across all of your working sets. It could only be for just that last working set that you have an increase, for there to be a specific increase across that load. So don't feel like you've got to add more weight or the heavier dumbbells across all 3 of your working sets. It can just be for one set on the end, or depending on how you feel on the day, if you are quite fatigued, you can obviously rein it back and go how you feel on the day. Key message across this week is keep pushing our accessories. So all of those movements after our compound lifts, so once you've done your squats, your presses, your pulling, your hinging, all of that kind of stuff, when we go into those accessory movements, please make sure we are pushing those as much as possible. So that is a lot of the point where we're going to get a lot of muscle growth, which is a lot of your guys' goals. So let's make sure we are pushing those a little bit more and we're not dialing back, especially after doing those compound lifts. But as I always say, enjoy this week's training. It's the penultimate week going into our 4th week. So next week, we will be pushing those heaviest weights across this cycle. Then we'll be kind of deloading back off going into week 1 of the next 4-week cycle. So really try and gauge where your numbers are at, and then next week we can have a big old push. Enjoy this week's training. Any questions at all with regards to anything, just drop myself a message.